Alright, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wachaha, Quadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing His truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to do a video responding to a vision that Jake had concerning World War III. Because, the Lord said in the book of Joel, I don't need to get it, but He said that He will pour out His Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall dream dreams. Okay? And the Lord has been sending a lot of people, whether they are Israelites, which will be so-called Negro, Latino, or Native Indians, or whether they would be of another nation. The Lord has been sending people visions in the form of dreams in the latter days, okay? Now, I know I've had a couple of visions before in the past, of course, the kingdom of heaven being one, another one the terrifying dream I had of Israelites being in a concentration camp, babies being locked in a cage, being chainsawed in half, by some Edomite dressed in a bloody white outfit. He had on gloves or whatnot. Baby was crying, children in the background crying, saying they want their mommy, they want their daddy, there's been a lot of people who have been having visions and dreams as to what's going to happen in the future. Now, some dreams are not going to just come plainly, and some dreams are going to be some visions that's going to come in the form of dreams are going to be somewhat plain, like what this guy had. So I'm going to be responding to the Hopeful Elect 3, as you see right there. And the title of the video is Jake Shares Vision of World War III. Without further ado, let's get right into it. And I've also had a dream of having spiritual power. Now I was rescuing this woman from this unknown concentration camp. It could have been a concentration camp. I don't know where it was, but we were both trying to escape, and I was carrying her on my back. And make a long story short, when we finally made it outside, there was like all this debris in the way and shit. Then I remember I heard like this powerful music playing in my head, and then I shot like this extremely bright, powerful blast out my hands, and I literally obliterated all that debris, But as to why I was saving some woman that I was carrying on my back, I don't know what that dream was about. But brothers have been having dreams of spiritual power, Yahweh Shai's return, World War III, judgment. So let's go ahead and play the video. And fair use, by the way, fair use.
Hey, what's going on, TikTok? So I just wanted to tell you guys something. Tell you I had a dream last night, and it was a war. I was outside, a bunch of people outside, people just doing normal, regular life. It was nighttime, and
People were living their regular lives as if it was like another day, right? Kind of sounds familiar from the movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day with Sarah O'Connor. And she went outside, okay? She had a dream that, it was just another beautiful day, children, sitting on the swing, playing in the background. And the Holy Scriptures speak about how the day of the Lord is going to come upon these people. And it's going to come like a thief in the night, because they're not going to be looking for the Messiah to come back in what the world calls UFOs. They're not going to be expecting America to be destroyed, They're going, a lot of people here in America, they have it in their mind that this place is going to continue forever.
The sky lit up almost as if it was on fire. And you don't see nothing until something starts to approach out of the clouds. So what came out of the clouds? It was like, it looked like missiles.
Right. What does it say in Isaiah 34? Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 34. What did the Lord say his sword would be doing? For my sword shall be what? Bathed in heaven. So this further proves that these intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay, when they come back down to the earth, they will first be above the ozone layer of the earth. Okay, Isaiah 34 verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, because the ozone layer of the earth is above the clouds. Okay, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. So there's going to be a bloodbath over there in the Middle East during World War III, okay? It's going to be one big bloodbath, okay? High-tech weapons, lasers, rail guns, okay? Drones, bombs, grenades, RPGs, guns, just you name it, robots. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. How is the heavens going to be rolled together as a scroll? It's talking about the mushroom clouds from the explosion of a nuclear warhead. And all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth from the vine, as a falling fig from the fig tree. For here comes the key point. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. And when it says in heaven, that's talking about above the clouds, okay, above the ozone layer of the earth. Because how an intercontinental ballistic missile operates is that, and this is why it's called an intercontinental ballistic missile, because it's a rocket that is designed to carry nuclear warheads from one continent to another, and basically drop those nuclear warheads on the other country. So it shoots up, it goes up into the sky, it goes above the clouds, and then it goes up above the ozone layer, where it looks like it's in outer space, okay? But not above the Van Allen equator belt, but it does go up above the ozone layer of the earth, so it looks like it's in outer space, and then it travels around the globe to its destination, and once it gets to its destination, when it falls back down towards the earth, the capsule to the intercontinental ballistic missile comes off, and all of the nuclear warheads that are inside of the rocket falls out of the rocket, and the nuclear warheads basically fall and spread out to their designated areas. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Now Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
They weren't big, they're kind of small.
Right, because I forgot which prophet it was, but he basically said, for the stars of heaven shall fall. So these nuclear warheads that's going to be falling out the sky, they're not going to look all that big, okay? In matter of fact, they were described as the stars of heaven falling to the earth, which it was really the missiles, okay? Because when you look at rockets traveling through the night sky, they literally look like shooting stars, okay? Let me see. Let's type in Bible for the stars of heaven shall fall to the earth. KJV. I don't necessarily need to get it, but you know, Mark. Okay, let me see. Okay, Mark 13 verse 25. So, okay. So let's go to Mark 13 verse 35. Okay. Pretty sure if I just do this, hit Ctrl F and type in stars, okay? So Mark 13 verse 25, and the stars of heaven shall fall. And when it says the stars of heaven, this is not talking about the actual stars amongst the celestial constellations up there in what the world calls outer space. It's not talking about those stars. These stars are actually a metaphor or a dark saying for the intercontinental ballistic missiles. Because again, when these missiles travel through the night sky, they look like shooting stars. Okay, and it says, "And the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken." Meaning the earth is going to shake from the impact of the explosion of nuclear warheads. So let's continue.
And when they would come out of the clouds, it was like they just spread and stuff like that.
Right, because these nuclear warheads were coming out of intercontinental ballistic missiles, which is the vehicle used for carrying the nuclear warheads inside of it. The intercontinental ballistic missiles is the vehicle that is used to carry, 15 to 60 nuclear warheads from one continent to another via so-called outer space. Okay? So again, when the intercontinental ballistic missile falls back down to the earth, the capsule comes off and all of the nuclear warheads that's inside of it comes out of that intercontinental ballistic missile, and they basically spread out.
And they just spread and stuff like that. And I'm assuming it was a missile. It could have been a meteor and stuff. It was fire coming out the back. Specifically, I remember the missiles looking.
And the missiles kind of do look like meteors too when they're traveling through the night sky.
Were green, red, and white with fire coming out of the back. And I'm assuming it was a missile. It could have been a meteor and stuff. It was fire coming out the back. Specifically, I remember the missiles looking. They were green, red, and white with fire coming out of the back. And now the thing is, I want to say like hellfire, and the reason I say that is because it was so many of them. Like so many of them. So many of them. They were everywhere. And the thing is, you couldn't see them until it was like they were over the clouds, and then you just see them coming out the clouds. And like I said, they were literally everywhere.
Hey. It's a lot. Let's do this. Let's go to Revelation 9. because in the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, okay, let's type in 1,000. Okay, so I don't need to read all of this, but okay. Revelation 9 verse 13, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before Yahweh, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Which the third part of men is talking about the Edomites. Because in the book of Genesis, in the beginning, when men was created, there were three categories of men that was created. The first will be the sons of God, who will come back as the Israelites, okay? The second category of men will be the sons of men, which will be the other nations, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Africans, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Japhetic people, which will be the Samoans, Hawaiians, Malians, Etruscans, you name it. And then the third part of men will be the wicked. Okay, they will be known as the children of the wicked. And the children of the wicked came back through the line of Esau. Okay, which started with the serpent in the garden, which was a wicked individual who lied. He was of that wicked stock. Okay, but we know that Cain, after he died, he came back as Esau, okay? So to slay the third part of men is talking about the Edomites, okay? As I read in Isaiah 30, the 34th chapter earlier, okay? The sword of the Lord shall come down upon Idumea, the third part of men, okay? And I heard the number of the army of the horsemen. Oh, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. Now, when it says the army of the horsemen here, this is not talking about actual men sitting on horses with blades and knight armor or samurai armor or warrior armor on. No. The number of these horsemen is talking about the nuclear warheads. And the number of the army of the horsemen, so these are talking about nuclear warheads, okay, were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. So 200,000 is 200 million. So 200 million nuclear warheads is going to hit this country. Okay, so this vision that he is sharing is spot on with biblical prophecy. Because, as the Lord's elect is getting beamed up into what the world calls UFOs, it's going to be millions, up to 200 million of these nuclear warheads raining from out the sky. Okay, obliterating Babylon the Great, which is known as America in today's time. America is Babylon the Great. And he said hellfire. Well, America is the lake of fire spoken of in the Holy Scriptures. And the nuclear warheads is going to turn this country into a lake of fire.
And it blown up cars and houses and people everywhere. And the thing is, you couldn't see them until it was like they were over the clouds, and then you just see them coming out the clouds. So like I said, they were literally everywhere. and it blowing up cars and houses and people, and it was just screaming and complete and utter chaos, and people were crying and people were running and dipping and just trying to dodge, and it was crazy. And like I said, it wasn't like big explosions. It wasn't like, it was like bunch of little explosions, but they were like, you know, they were big enough. And I woke up and I was panting, and I was like, what the fuck? Because it seemed so real. And then,
well, that's what visions are. Okay.
I was like,
visions are basically dreams that feel very real.
Looking around, I was like, okay, I'm still here, I'm still alive, like there's nothing going on. And then so I ended up going back to sleep, and I went back to sleep into the exact same dream, and I right where I left off, and I was just running, and then I ran back for some reason, I think to grab somebody, and it was a missile coming, and like, or fireball, I don't know, I think it was missiles and stuff. And then the whole time in my dream, it was just, it felt like a Russian invasion or something. It just kept saying Russia, and it wasn't like flashing saying Russia. The missiles didn't say Russia. Like it was the feeling was just Russia, and I do not know why. I don't even know what the fuck that means. But it was just, and it was like, it was almost as if it was raining fire out of the sky. I mean, it was that many fucking missiles, and they were
fire and brimstone. Okay. Revelation 14. Okay. Because those nuclear warheads, they're going to come in the form of fire and brimstone upon the ones who have the mark of the beast, which is the micro-CHIP. Revelation 14 verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, he received his mark in his forehead or in his hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh. The wine of the wrath of the Heavenly Father are those nuclear warheads. That's going to come from Russia, NATO, Iran, China, okay, India, and various other countries that will be at war with America. And yes, I say NATO because according to Revelation 17 verse 17, the dragon shall hate the whore and shall eat her flesh and make her naked and shall burn her with fire. In this case, nuclear fire, because NATO have nuclear weapons too. So NATO is going to turn on the United States of America as well, which is poured out with a mixture to the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with what? With fire and brimstone. Okay, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And yes, the holy angels and Yahushua is going to be present during the nuclear destruction, because the elect is going to be getting beamed up and delivered from the nuclear destruction during those times. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
Just constant, they would just come and just like that. They just almost as if it was raining fire out of the sky. I mean, it was that many fucking missiles, and they were just constant. They would just come and just like that. They come out through clouds and they spread out like that, and they're not going any like direct area. They're just spreading and just hitting whatever it hit. But it was so many of them, and it was so constant. The rapid fire was just so. It was just, and so many people were dying. It was just freaking. I don't even understand. I don't know why Russia had anything to do. I don't even know what Russia had to do with it or why it had anything to do with it. It just my dream just said Russia. It was just like Russia. But, and I don't even think Russia is even green, red, and white. So I don't even know what the hell that's all about. But still in all, it was just the fact that I went to sleep and woke up. Woke up and then went right back to sleep and went right back into where it left off. That just made it even more kind of scary. And then I woke up, when I finally did wake up, I was just like, that was one hell of a dream. Like, I don't know what that was all about or why, and it could have been something else. Maybe it wasn't this. I don't know. It was just red, white, and green, and for some reason Russia just kept on circulating in my soul or in my mind.
Okay, red, white, and green. Now, if you go to Google or Bing.com and you type in the Iranian flag, what colors do you get here? You get red, white, and green, right? Red, white, and green is the color of the Iranian flag. Now, we know that according to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, that Russia is commanded to be a guard to these smaller nations. Now, we also know that according to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter and the 45th verse, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So we know that Babylon is going to go into Iran. And we know that Iran is an ally of Russia. So the day that America goes into Iran and puts the danger of Russia's interest in Iran in danger, put Russia's interest in danger, once America goes into Iran and puts Russia's interest that they have there in Iran in danger, that's when the United States of America will become a sworn enemy of Russia. And indeed, Russia is going to attack the United States of America. So your dream is screaming Russia, and this is why. Ezekiel 38 verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Now, on the ancient map, okay, Gog and Magog were once lands that belonged to Japheth, okay? You know, Medes, okay? If you look on the ancient map, Mede, which was one of the descendants of Japheth, okay? Mede was a Japhite, but Mede actually had that land where Russia is now, okay? Mede used to be there. Okay, so it's no longer called Mede, it's called Russia now. Okay, and basically that's how we're able to identify who the modern day Medes are. Okay, Mede was a descendant of Japheth. However, the people ruling over there in that land, calling it Russia, those people over there, the majority of them are Edomites, okay? Putin is an Edomite, but he's currently the leader of Russia, okay? And the Lord is dealing with Putin to basically come against the United States of America, okay? So Gog and Magog, which are also, the same regions as Russia, that's Russia today, which Magog goes back to the Hebrew Mayan Gog or Magog, which Mayan is where you get the Hebrew word from. So, but instead of Mayan Gog, it's Magog, which means from God. So Gog and Magog is Russia, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Okay? It says, and say, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sort of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So the Lord is using Russia to raise up a great army for the sake of combating against the United States of America. Persia, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. Now, we know that, what is going on here? So it says Persia, which your Persians today will be your Iranians. Those are your Persians today, okay? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, which those are predominantly Hamitic regions, okay? Well, I mean, which you do got some Israelites living amongst the Ethiopians and Libyans, okay? But Ethiopia and Libya is ran by Ham for the most part, okay? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Okay? Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be what? Now this is a command from the Lord to Russia. This is what the Lord is telling Russia to do. And be thou a guard unto them. Unto who? Persia, which are the Iranians, Ethiopia and Libya. Okay, be a guard unto these smaller nations. Okay, be a guard to Gomer and Togarmah. Okay, you see that? So Russia in Ezekiel 38 is commanded to be a guard unto these smaller nations, and that's what we're seeing in the news. Russia and Iran making a pact with one another, they're having all these agreements, alliances. So Iran is clearly an ally of Russia. Okay? Now we know that Iran also has nuclear capability as well. But your dream basically, your vision basically entails of how the Lord is going to use Iran and Russia, you know, that which is two of the many countries that's going to have a hand in destroying the United States of America during World War III. Okay? After many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years. Thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have always been waste, but is brought forth out of the nations. Okay, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Okay, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. Thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Okay. Now here comes the key point. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil. And what is that evil thought? And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. Who's the land of unwalled villages right here? This is talking about the United States of America. This country don't have any walls around its borders, okay? You can literally enter this country from the beach, okay? From dry land, okay? This country ain't got no borders around it. So this country is also known as the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest. Yeah, for the most part, you people here in America, you're still at rest, that dwell safely. All of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. To do what? To take a spoil and to take a prey, and to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle, goods, and that dwell in the midst of the land. So, indeed, America is going to be invaded. Well, America has already been invaded. You already got sleeper cells from Russia and China and Iran and many different other countries over here. East Indians, sleeper cells, waiting to receive that phone call so they can put on that military uniform and take actions against you people over here on the soils of America. And you want to know when they came over here, when they crossed the border under Biden's administration. So you got the sleeper cells of the other nations over here, just waiting to get that phone call. Okay? Because I perceive that they are the ones that's going to be used against you so-called white Americans. Because, I highly, it don't seem likely the National Guard is going to go after their own, Edomite, fellow Edomite American citizens. So what? That's what the sleeper cells over here are for. Okay? So you see, Russia is commanded to be a guard unto the smaller countries such as Iran. Now, if we come over here to Jeremiah, right, chapter 50, verse 45, this is what's going to lead Russia to attack America, because you said that at the beginning of your dream that the missiles were green, white, and red. Okay, red, white, and green. Okay. Well, let's see what it says here. Jeremiah 50 verse 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Now the modern day Chaldean, the Chaldeans back then were your Illuminati members. Okay? Because the ancient Chaldeans were known for what? Sorcery, witchcraft, human sacrifices. Okay, doing all kind of rituals, conjuring up demons. Well, who's known for doing that in today's time? The Illuminati. Okay, all these secret societies that are getting together. All these secret societies that are getting together. Kidnapping all these people, sacrificing them, doing all kind of wicked rituals. They're doing that today, man. So your Chaldeans today would be the Illuminati. And where is their main quarters at? Over here in America. Rather if it's deep underground or on some hidden island. Okay? That's your Chaldeans today. Surely the least of the flock. Okay, so we know that Babylon is the United States of America, right? So surely the least of the flock. Okay, who's the least of the flock? The least of the flock is talking about them small hats over there in the land of Israel, calling themselves Jewish, and they are not. But they are descendants of Esau. Okay, who took on the name of Jewish, but they're not Jewish, okay? Those people over there in the land of Israel today are descendants of Esau. And I'm talking about the majority of them. Now, you do got some Jakes among them, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, that place is inhabited by Amalekites. And we know that Amalek was a descendant of Esau. Okay, an Edomite. So the least of the flock, okay, is talking about them small hats over there in the land of Israel. Shall draw them out. Shall draw who out? Babylon. The least of the flock shall draw out Babylon. The so-called Israelis shall draw out America into this confrontation, this war against the United States of America. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay? The so-called Israelis shall draw out the United States of America in this confrontation, this war against Russia. Okay? Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And how is America going to be made desolate? How is the land of Israel going to be made desolate? Through a thermonuclear war, which is actually upon us, actually. Because there's many countries that have nuclear capabilities, okay? China, North Korea, okay? Iran, Russia, NATO, India, okay? And I believe Germany. Okay, these countries are nuclear capable. So when the time comes, these countries are according to Jeremiah 50 verse 14, these countries are going to shoot their missiles upon the United States of America and upon the land of Israel, because these countries are going to they're going to come to the conclusion that the world has one common problem or one common enemy, and that's the United States of America and them small hats over there in the land of Israel, calling themselves JEWISH, and they are not. But they are the synagogue of Satan, descendants of Esau. Okay? So Jeremiah 50 verse 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon, the United States round about, all ye that bend the bow. The bow is the silos that the intercontinental ballistic missiles sit in. Shoot at her, shoot at Babylon, aka America. Spare no arrows. The arrows is a metaphor, a dark saying for the nuclear warheads. Don't spare any nuclear warheads, for she have sinned against the Lord. Okay? So I hope this video was edifying. With that, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. The salutations to the Lord's elect. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. So on to the next one.